What's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. This time we're going to talk about how Skilless Goku is going to impact the Dragon Ball Super card game. So I know it's a little bit late. I know set 6 is already out and about, but this is a video that I put it to a poll on the community tab if you guys saw it, and you guys still wanted to see these videos. And I think there's still some valuable stuff to talk about here, especially with the Skilless deck. I think there's a lot of stuff you can talk about for the future of this deck, especially if and when the format changes. I think this is really one of the most timeless decks that we'll see for a long time, kind of like Pan Zeno, kind of like that. You know, I think we'll see this deck for a long time. So if you guys are new to the channel, definitely hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell to stay up to date with awesome Dragon Ball Super content that I post here. If you guys are looking for a Discord community, check that out in the description below. Amazing group of people to talk about your decks, get opinions, things like that. And finally, guys, if you're longtime fans of the channel, check out the Patreon in the description below. You guys help me out, and you guys can see some competitive content as well. It just helps the channel, helps yourself with a competitive edge. So we'll get into this video. So if you guys don't know, if you haven't been following me, this is one of my absolute favorite decks to play this format. Between Skilless and Gogeta Ramp, I've been having a great time this format, even in the face of Super Shenron. The deck's really dumb and really broken, but this is definitely one of the decks that can combat it to the best of its abilities, right? So real quick, we'll go over what the leader does. The leader just generates a ton of advantage, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have faced against it, but real quick, if there's a Skilless battle card in your drop area, you can awaken at 6 life. So that's really crucial in a lot of matchups because it really extends the game, right? The cool thing about Skilless is that you can play aggressive, you know, spamming 20k beaters, spamming 30k beaters, but you can also extend the game just by the nature of your leader, because your leader awakens at 6. So if your opponent's leader is still at 10k, that's 1 damage you don't have to take every single turn until they awaken. And you can, you know, this deck, you can generate advantage passively, aka by not giving your opponent cards. So you don't have to necessarily attack them to gain cards, so you don't ever have to awaken them. You could put that kind of task of awakening on them. Activate main once per turn. Show your opponent a 4-star ball, draw a card, gain 5k. Another plus about this leader, you can threaten awakened leaders unawakened. This is actually really relevant in the Janemba matchup. Of course, you have TN in the sideboard for Janemba, but that plus 5k is super relevant because against Janemba, at least me personally, I don't ever like to awaken against Janemba because I don't want to start turboing through my deck. I don't want to draw 2 every turn because then I'm making their win con happen faster. So I'd rather just stay unawakened, gain 5k, draw 1 card, which is the same thing as an awakened leader would do essentially. I just don't get the untap 1, draw 1, but that's not super relevant, especially in a slow matchup like Janemba. So that's perfect right there. Normally he'll flip at 4, he'll untap 1, draw 1. Untap 1, draw 1 is really weird, but in this deck and in this archetype, it just works really well because you have a lot of cheap plays like your 1-drop Gokus, your Borgos or your Whis, or like your Krillin for 2 energy, and maybe you have a Senzu Bean in there. You just have so many cheap plays that the untap 1, draw 1, it's really good. It's all the tempo you need with the untap 1, and then the draw 1 is just more pluses. So on the backside, you have the ability to show a 4-star, draw 2, discard a card. Now, if your 1-drop Goku is just sitting there on the board all game, you're just going to recoup. You can just discard Dragon Balls and recoup them. So that's just going to be, basically your leader's going to be a draw 2 as long as the 1-drop Goku sits on the board. The incredible thing too is like the awakened turn in this deck. The awakened turn in this deck makes you draw a crap ton of cards. On the unawakened side, you draw 1 with the leader effect. You untap, draw 1 when you awaken. If you have 6 in your, if you have 6 life and you have a vanilla in your drop, you do that. And then on the backside, you draw 2 more and then you ditch 1. So you just drew 4 cards between awakening. The activate main draw leaders are absolutely nuts. They just are. And then the other auto, once per turn, when you combo with a Skilless battle card, it gains plus 5k combo for duration of the turn. So that's the first vanilla you combo in a turn. It's going to be a 10k combo. The deck is just straight value. Everything is a plus. Everything is a valuable card. So I do think this deck is going to be timeless. I think the deck is great in the current format, and I want to talk about all the different kind of variations and how they might shape up, you know, as the format progresses and as the game ages, because I think this deck is going to be around for a long time. For any of my Yu-Gi-Oh guys, this could be like the burning abyss of Dragon Ball. So we'll go into some of the cards I have listed here. So 4-star ball, really cool card. I like that it's an extra card that allows you to combo essentially, and it just benefits, you know, 10Ks. You're not really going to see these in like Shenron based decks, I don't think, unless something really weird happens with the format where like you need to be like a, I don't know, a hyper defensive Shenron deck or something like that. But this card works perfectly in this deck. And then you have Son Goku, the adventure begins. This card, and we're going to talk about a few builds in this video, but any build that plays, you know, a black leader essentially, or, you know, usually the Bonds of Friendship Goku leader, if this card can just sit on the board all game, you have like a very high percent chance, like an 80% chance you're going to win that game, if not higher, depending on the matchup. If this card just sits on the board, you just accrue so much advantage. A single Dragon Ball every single turn. And even if you bring all the Dragon Balls out of your deck, what you can do is attack, combo ball, get the ball back. It's just free combo power at that point. It's free real estate, which is absolutely bonkers. And then the effect to summon 30k is for 2 energy just gets really out of hand if your opponent can't answer the 30ks and if they can't answer the Goku. Now, the one thing about any build you play with this deck is it's very overly reliant on the one drop. So personally, in the Chicago Celebration event, which is the first event I played this deck, I played 4 Dragon Ball and 4 of this one drop Goku, and it worked out great for me all day. There was like two games out of like 10 plus rounds that I didn't see a ball or a Goku, but like as I started testing the deck more and more, it was a little bit more consistent. So I'm personally comfortable with 5 Dragon Balls and 1 Goku, or sorry, 4 Gokus. And then if you have a color like yellow or red that can fetch more Dragon Balls, maybe you can trim down the Dragon Balls and play more of those cards. But yeah, that's just kind of my take on it. But yeah, this card is absolutely incredible. This is one of the big reasons why the deck is so good. But the deck is very reliant on it. So if your opponent has an easy time answering it, if they main deck Crisis Crusher, or if they are a Vegeta Baby leader, or any leader that kind of inherently answers it, you can be in for a little bit of a rough time. But even in those matchups, because of the advantage you generate, you really have a horse in every race, which is really crazy. Android 8 is another card I want to talk about because I don't know, guys. In my opinion, this card kind of is not good. I played it in Chicago and it was so lackluster. I don't think I popped a battle card with its effect once in all of Chicago between Gunslinger. In Gunslinger, it might have came up once, and in teams, I don't think it came up at all. Like, it really wasn't relevant. Like, it's decent in like the green Broly matchup, but you have way better plays to make in those matchups. And you really never care about scrying for a vanilla. You should be playing enough vanillas in your deck that you're gonna see them more often than not. This card, I think going forward, this card is maybe gonna just get, like, in my build currently it's cut. I'm not playing this card right now, and I don't think it's that great unless like some big boss monster that needs to be answered comes out for some reason. But yeah, this card, in my opinion, not worth playing. Controversial, I know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about that. But yeah, just my 2 cents. Training Buddy Krillin. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This card is one of the best cards in this archetype. The minus 5k is incredibly relevant, especially when you're facing down a card like Borgos that's stopping you from untapping with Senzu Bean. If you're facing down a Crisis Crusher, so it's preventing your 1-drop Goku from sticking around, the minus 5k is really, really relevant. And then again, the free board presence, the bring back at 20k is just so good. Commander Red is a very similar card. It's 1 energy more expensive, and it is a Sparking 3, which, like, Sparking 3 is not very hard to get in this deck, but at the same time, it's a 3 energy play, a 3 energy for a 30k. I'd rather just play the Goku for 1 energy, search a Dragon Ball, and then tap 2 more to do the same thing as Commander Red. The cool thing about Commander Red is he is another threatening attack, but I don't think this card's going to necessarily be too good until the format really slows down, and I don't think that's going to happen until we see something happen with, like, Super Shenron or AOD Dende. So, a card that I think is going to be neglected for a little while, but a card that can be good in the future for sure. I mean, you play 3 energy, you get 6 energy worth of bodies, and one of those is a 30k beater. That's not bad. It's definitely not bad. So first, we'll start talking about the blue build of this deck. So just to start off with, there is no mono black build. I don't believe there are any black vanilla battle cards. So I'll just get that out of the way. But the blue build was one that gave me a lot of success in Chicago. I think it's really good. But I don't know, I'm starting to test mono yellow, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But the blue build is really insane because Senzu Bean is just a nuts card, right? This card is absolutely insane in terms of, like I said before, the Awaken in this deck is amazing because you have super cheap plays. So like, let's say I tap out for like a Krillin on turn 2, I can Awaken, attack, Senzu Bean, restand. If I have like a 1-drop Goku on the board from turn 1, I can use that ability to summon a 30k. You can go really wide with Senzu Bean, which I really, really like. And of course, you have access to really good blue staples like Borgos, especially in this current format. Borgos is insane. My only issue is that Borgos is really, really annoying in the mirror match. So that's why I'm starting to steer away from blue Skilless right now, because Borgos and Whis and the red Veku are so prominent right now. There's that issue, as well as the fact that you have the debate between Nimbus and Bean being better against Super Shenron. But I think the yellow build has Nimbus, which is the equivalent of Bean, but also has Crusher Ball, which is really good against Dende, Agent of Destruction. So some give and take there. My kind of 2 cents on the blue build. Let's talk about the green build real quick. I think the green build is the weakest of the 4 builds between blue, green, red, and yellow. Green is cool. It has a neat little gimmick, and I really, like, you guys might have heard me talk about this before, I really love Frieza Army Healing Pod. It's card of safe return for my Yu-Gi-Oh players. Just summon a green from the drop area, draw a card. But most of the time, I find myself summoning 30ks from the deck. I don't really want to be sending them to the drop area. I either charge them or combo them only if need be for the 10k combo. And I think this is the slowest version of the deck. Like, you have a weird turn 1 play. Like, do you play your Goku turn 1? Do you play your Healing Pod turn 1? And then turn 2, if you play Healing Pod, you can't play the vanilla from the deck with the Goku effect. It's just really weird. I think it's the most gimmicky version of the deck, so I don't think it's going to be too great. But if we do get better green support, like generic green support, I can see this type of deck being incredibly powerful. So definitely something to keep in mind. I think everyone should have a playset of Healing Pods, just at their disposal, ready to go. Now we'll talk about the red build, which I think is really interesting. The red build is, I hear people talk about it all the time, and I haven't personally tested it much myself, although the theory is pretty insane. Spam the board with 30k vanillas, and then, drop Fearless Pan, give them double strike plus 5k. 35 double strike, it's almost guaranteed damage unless they negate it, right? So my issue with this deck is that, one thing, in the current format at least, you don't have the tech options that blue and yellow have. Namely, you don't really have anything to combat Super Shenron or Dende AOD, because you don't have Nimbus, you don't have Bean, and you can't play any of the good red negates because your leader is not red, your leader is black. So that's one big issue I have with that variant of the deck. The other issue is it seems a little bit slow. So I go through the curve in my head. So what I see is turn 1, 1-drop Goku. Turn 2, tap 2 for 30k. Turn 3, you can go into Fearless Pan right then and there, but then you're only getting 1 buffed battle card. So then you can go like turn 3, maybe like Kid Goku effect, tap 2 for a vanilla, and then you can go Leader Awaken on tap 1, maybe drop a Krillin, and then use the Krillin to bring out a 20k. And then turn 4, you can go, a bunch of guys with double strike plus 5k. But in this format, that's a little bit too slow. So I do think that red, if the format gets slower, I think that red Skilless actually could be a force to be reckoned with, and I think that deck could be pretty nuts. But in the current format, I'm going to have to give it to yellow. Yellow right now has so many amazing tech options. You've got Flying Nimbus, of course, for both AOD, for Super Shenron, and it's really good in the mirror match as well. Battering Laser is an incredible card. You can stop your opponent's Nimbus if you're trying to go in. You've also got Crusher Ball for the AOD matchup. Crusher Ball is also really good against the green Broly deck. And then you still do have a 1-drop Borgos in the form of Godly Destruction Whis. So I think going forward, I think blue and yellow will remain the 2 strongest builds. And I think if Dende, AOD, and Super Shenron didn't exist, I think blue would be the strongest build because you could be the most aggressive and you still can be hyper defensive. And that's the cool thing about most of these builds. Because of the hand size you generate, you can be hyper aggressive, you can be hyper defensive, and you can play a mid-range game, which I love about this deck. I love how flexible this deck is because this deck rewards you for playing correctly in the right situations. I'm a really, really huge fan of that. So blue and yellow, I think, will remain top dogs. I think in the current format, yellow is the best build. I think moving forward, I think blue could become the best build if Super Shenron and AOD went away. But I do think red could really prosper in a slower format where where any deck could reign. Because I really think if you got rid of Super Shenron and you got rid of AOD right now, I think any deck could take top spot. I think it would be a constant battle, and I would love a format like that. That would be so amazing. We're so close, guys. We're so close. And then you have, like I said, green before. I think green needs some better cards, some better generic green cards before that deck can really be super powerful. So those are my thoughts, guys. Those are my thoughts on how Skilless is going to impact the game. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Really want to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Joey. This is Crossroad TCG, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey guys, now that you made it this far, listen good, listen close. In this pile of bulk behind me, I've got a Victory Strike just sitting there, unsleeved. Just minding its own business, just wants to be played, just wants to be used, just wants to, cheese people out of wins. And I swear, if you don't hit the subscribe button or check out some of our other videos right now before clicking off this video, I'm gonna rip it to shreds. I'm gonna tear it up. I'm gonna waste $500 if you guys don't hit the subscribe button or check out some of our other videos. I swear, I'll do it. I really will.